Hey, what is up, nerds, geeks, and collectors alike? And today we'll be taking a look at the League of Legends The Champion Collection, Ashe. And this is from the first edition, and yes, I do play League of Legends, and yes, I do main Ashe in the bot lane. And here we are taking a closer look at Ashe with all of her gear equipped, and I have to say, Spin Master did a wonderful job bringing this character into action figure form. There are a lot of sculpted details that can be appreciated, and the paint applied to this figure is very nice. Now, I do want to mention that there are a lot of sculpted details which is in perfect contrast of the painted parts in order to ensure that those details do not get lost within the paint. And here we have Ashe without her equipment. And as you can see, this is a beautiful head sculpt, may I add. And here you can notice they added some braids for her, given that it will be covered up by her cloak, and they still went with it, which is something I can really appreciate, and I know some of you guys will as well. And the rest of the figure has a ton of details that really pops out with the paint, especially that the color palette really complements each other. And one of the most interesting things here is this bronze marbly plastic has some silver weathering on it, and also on the bicep. Here at the cloak on the shoulder pads, we have that same material. And speaking of the cloak, here we have some neatly applied gold paint. I don't see any bleeding, and they really sculpted this thing beautifully. Once more, some golded paint. Again, no bleeding. They put it so cleanly, and I really appreciate Spin Master doing that. And in order for Ashe to equip this, you just put it over her head. And there's something that I like to do with the straps to make it look more organic, which is tuck it underneath her hair, which is relatively easy because it's made of soft rubbery plastic, and the real challenge will be locking this thing in. And just move the hair on top of the straps, and now let's try to put this together. This is the most challenging part because the peg is also made of that soft rubbery plastic, therefore it tends to bend around. So what I like to do is use this tool, and there we have it. Next is the quiver. The quiver again is made of this bronze marbly plastic with some blue painted over it. And the straps are angled in a certain way because Ashe is going to equip this according to how the straps is molded in. And yes, the top part can also be removed, and here we have to put it and just have to align this part is designed to go over the cape, which you'll see here at the back, and then tabbing this in could be quite a challenge. Again, soft rubbery plastic tends to do that. And one of my nitpick is the quiver is supposed to be going this way, supposed to tilt on the left, but instead it tilts either upward or to the right. And the moment I let go here, it goes back. Next up, we have her frozen arrow, which is cast in this blue translucent icy plastic. And she comes with 3 of them, which is appropriate because of her first and second skill, where she will be needing multiple arrows to attack. And to store these arrows, they can go into the quiver on her back. Moving to her primary weapon, here we have the True Ice Bow. It is cast in the same material as the arrows in this icy blue translucent plastic. It is kinda see-through with some paint on the handles, and this part actually holds the arrows for certain poses, and I would rather prefer it to be inward rather than outward because it would give Ashe a cleaner look. And to get this into her hand, it's kind of tough, especially that I haven't done this much. That's why the plastic is kind of sturdy on this one. And there we have Ashe holding her bow very firmly, and it looks great. And what could possibly be the best accessory that comes with Ashe is her ultimate. This is made of the same material as her bow and arrows. And for storage, it doesn't fit in the quiver if you're wondering. And this is actually quite interesting because it has a slot for her to hold and for the string, urging you to pose it with her. And finally, here we have her last accessory, which is the League of Legends stand. And for her to use it, you just want to peg her foot onto the stand, and there you have it. And for the articulation, I decided to remove all of Ashe's accessories to see her full potential. Her head can do a complete 360 since it is on a ball joint, but her hair can be restrictive, but still you can negotiate with it since it is made of soft plastic. She can barely look up and down because her hair restricts it. Her shoulder can do a complete 360, and her elbows are on a double jointed system, which is kind of sturdy. And bringing it back, her wrists can do in and out as well as a rotation. And I didn't forget, it's just not there. She does not have a bicep swivel, which is one of my gripes. But she can go up that far. That is actually something I forgot. Because, again, the biceps, she's an archer. She needs that point of articulation. It would really help with her poses. It's kind of weird that they didn't give it to her. And that applies to the other arm. There is also no bicep swivel on either arms. But moving on, she has a swivel at the torso, and her skirt kind of limits her movement in terms of the kick, and she can barely or even little to no articulation there, but she can fairly do the splits. She has a thigh swivel and a double jointed knee system, and again kind of sturdy, but you get the idea. Bringing it back on the feet, her only articulation here on the feet is this and this. It can do a complete 360, but in terms of an up and down or a pivot, nothing. Now, moving on to the scaling. Here, as you can see, Ashe stands a little above 6.5 inches with her hood on, but I estimate she's a little below 5.5 inches without it. So to conclude, I still like this figure because Ashe is my bias, but as an action figure, my major gripe is the missing bicep swivel, especially that she's an archer. She could really benefit from that in terms of her poses. And the quiver, it's a minor nitpick. Some of you may be able to fix that on your own. But Spin Master does have its good points, especially with the sculpt and the paint. With the sculpting, there are a lot of nice details, and most of the painted parts are neatly and cleanly applied. And it was actually kind of a surprise for me to get a hold of this figure because I didn't think that they would continue this line. But nonetheless, I'm pretty happy to finally have an officially licensed Ashe figure from League of Legends. So that's about it. Till next time, see ya.